Now, okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, to taking the time to listen in to the Wesgro presentation we have here today. So you will be hearing from Desmond from the South African Embassy here in Oslo, but also JP from Wesgro. So I would like to say a few words for the background here. NABA had a business delegation to South Africa in the first week of February this year, participating at some mining in Daba, where we were lucky, where Wesgro were hosting us for a roundtable discussion. And with all the activities happening in South Africa this year, we thought it was a good idea to get more of our members to listen in and learn more about Wesgro and the work you guys are doing. I think I just wanted to also mention Norway has been invited as a guest country to South Africa's presidency of G20. So there's a lot of political attendees present in South Africa from Norway this year, ending up in a summit in Johannesburg in November. So more information will come from NABA. We're going to spend the next 45 minutes walk you through what's happening on ground in South Africa, where Wesgro is presenting. But I would like to just give the floor to Desmond from the Embassy of South Africa here in Oslo before we go over to Wesgro.
Morning, everyone. My name is Nolo Desmond Mureki. I'm the first secretary political here. Currently, I'm the chargé d'affaires of the mission. Unfortunately, Ambassador couldn't be here with us today because she's traveling. I've been requested to make some few remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you to NABA for the opportunity. If I may start by thanking the program director, Ms. Tangen, and members of NABA and Wesgro, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed an honor for me to address you today on this very important topic of exploring trade and investment opportunities between South Africa and Norway. Ladies and gentlemen, South Africa and Norway have a long history of collaboration driven by common principles and desire for success. And today we meet at a time when the globe is facing an uncertain future due to ongoing conflicts, looming trade wars, and the possibility of a global economic downturn. As we face this new global economic reality, it is critical that we seize the opportunity to strengthen our partnerships and explore new avenues for collaboration, especially in trade and investment. I therefore would like to begin my brief remarks by outlining some of the key features that makes our country, South Africa, an appealing market for Norwegian enterprises to consider entering our market. Firstly, South Africa stands as a gateway to dynamic African continent. We boast a diverse economy with a robust sectors, including mining, agriculture, manufacturing, and services. It is Africa's most industrialized economy, offering access to a market of over 1.3 billion people through the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. Secondly, our strategic geographic positioning provides unparalleled access to global markets, bolstered by well-established infrastructure, including world-class ports and transport networks, facilitating efficient distribution across the continent and beyond. Thirdly, South Africa's commitment to economic reform and policy stability presents a conducive environment for foreign investment. Recently, regulatory reforms through government's Operation Vulindlela, which aims to enhance ease of doing business, reduce bureaucratic hurdles, and promote investor confidence in our economy. Moreover, sectors such as renewable energy, technology, and financial services offer significant growth prospects for our country. The renewable energy sector, for instance, is rapidly expanding with substantial opportunities in solar and wind energy projects aligning with global sustainable goals. In conclusion, South Africa emerges not only as an investment destination, but as a strategic partner for Norwegian businesses looking to expand their footprint in Africa. With its rich resources, skilled workforce, and supportive regulatory framework, the country presents a compelling case for sustainable and profitable investment. Ladies and gentlemen, in those few words, I would like to inform you that South Africa is open for business, and with our provincial investment agencies such as Wesgro, we are ready to guide you through every step of the process to ensure that investment aspirations in our beautiful country are met. I therefore look forward to some engaging deliberations that will strengthen our relations between South Africa and Norway further. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Desmond, and giving this outlook of South Africa. I think everyone can appreciate these days a little bit chaotic situation around the trade. So
Yeah.
let's see how that plays out. So JP, I would love to give you the floor to go through your presentation. And I just want to mention to everyone that we have, in the end of the session, just type in your questions. If there are any questions, then we will take them as we go along. JP, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I want to thank my colleague in the South African Embassy in Norway. It sounds like he's done my whole job for me already by covering almost all the topics that I was going to talk to in my presentation. So I think he's set me up very well. I just want to ensure everyone can see the presentation clearly. Great. So thank you very much to NABA for organizing this great webinar. My name is JP van der Merwe. I'm the Chief Foreign Direct Investment Officer for Wesgro. And we're going to present a little bit more about doing business and investing in the Western Cape, which is one of South Africa's 9 provinces. So in South Africa, we have provincial agencies who help promote trade and investment in each of the provinces. We are Wesgro, and our mandate is to promote the Western Cape specifically. So our 3 broad mandates are to promote exports out of the Western Cape into the rest of the world. Secondly, to promote tourism and more visitors coming to South Africa and specifically the Western Cape. And lastly, our role is to promote further investment into the province. We're a point of contact for Western Cape businesses who are looking to expand or export, and we're the first point of contact for new investors wanting to do business in South Africa. We also have some specialized units bringing new airlines to Cape Town International Airport and more cruise liners to the port of Cape Town. So again, I think my colleague from the the Chargé d'Affaires for South Africa in Norway has given a bit of an overview of South Africa. But just to maybe reiterate some of those points, the size of we're a 363 billion dollar economy. The market is and population is 63 million people. We are Africa's most industrialized and diversified economy. And really, we're trying to position ourselves as we have done in the past, but as we continue to look to the future as a hub and a soft landing spot for companies looking to expand into the rest of the African continent. We also have a very sophisticated financial services and banking sector. Looking more specifically at the Western Cape as a regional economy within South Africa, the size of our economy is about $51 billion US. Our population is 7.5 million people, and we have the lowest unemployment rate in the country. Broadly, our sectoral contributions are similar to that of the rest of the country. We're predominantly a services-based economy, but with strong contributions from the agricultural sector, manufacturing sector as well. So why consider doing business and why consider investing in the Western Cape? So you are going to have good access to a local, regional and global market. Secondly, we have a skilled and affordable labor force. Thirdly, we have well-developed infrastructure, including roads, ports, rail, and undersea cables. We have innovation driving a lot of our regional economy. Fifthly, we have a stable democracy with relatively low political risk. Number 6, we have a number of prominent economic clusters that my colleague has mentioned already, but we will go through in a bit more detail in this presentation. And lastly, there's an enabling ecosystem of partners here in South Africa and in the Western Cape specifically that can help you navigate the business environment. So in terms of looking at the market and the size of the market that you potentially will reach. So as I mentioned, South Africa is home to 63 million people. The SADC region, where there is already complete free trade, there are 360 million people, so it's a large market. And as previously mentioned, the African Free Trade Continental Agreement, which is in the process of being implemented, will allow companies to have access to the full continent of members who signed up to the agreement, which is approximately 1.3 billion people. In addition to that, we have duty-free access to the EU, which is obviously a large market of 520 million people, as well as to the UK. We are currently under an agreement with the US called AGOA, but as we know, recent events have changed the whole political world and trade world. So we're not certain of where that will finally land in terms of tariffs, but maybe we can discuss that, or if there's any questions specifically about tariffs and the proposals put forward by the US government, we can go into that. I think from South Africa's perspective, the national government has made it clear we want to continue to talk with the US about our trading and investment relationship, and we do hope that we can come to an agreement where we can continue to see the US as a strong trade partner. We are also looking to ensure that we diversify our markets for our goods and services that we export to, as well as diversify our investment partners where we receive investment from. Looking a little bit more closely at the African growth story. So while the African economy broadly is at about $2 trillion currently, that is set to more than double to $4.5 trillion by 2040. From a population perspective, we are one of the fastest growing regions in the world, particularly in sub-Saharan Africa. And by 2050, it's expected that a quarter of the world's population, 2.4 billion people, will reside in Africa. In terms of what that means for your business and for Africa as an opportunity, the continent is set to have a workforce of 1.55 billion people by 2050. We have a particularly young population in comparison with many parts of the world. By 2030, half of new global workers will come from sub-Saharan Africa. Again, talking to the fact that there's a young population of people entering the workforce. Lastly, 52 cities across Africa have a population of 1 million people or more, showing that in terms of products and services or businesses wanting to locate in African cities around the continent, there are numerous opportunities. From a skills perspective, the Western Cape in South Africa more broadly has a wide range of service providers who are providing education, both from a public perspective, but also a private perspective. Within the Western Cape, we're home to 4 public universities: University of Cape Town, the University of Stellenbosch, which feature in the top 10 of African universities on an annual basis, with UWC, the University of the Western Cape, and the Cape Peninsula University of Technology, also providing a strong flow of qualified young people into the workforce. We also have a collection of private universities, some owned by Honoris United. We have a collection of 4 business schools that are located here in the Western Cape, and then other private training companies that you'll see on the bottom right of the slide. Lastly, we have demand-led training academies. So particularly in the software IT space, there are a number of companies who help upskill young people in software development, front-end development, and many other IT skills, so that a company looking for very specific skills can receive that level of expertise that they may need for their operations. Just to give you a size of the scale of the number of graduates coming out of the South African system. So this is nationally. We have approximately 220,000 students graduating from our universities across the country every year. In terms of school leavers, so those graduating from high school, last year there were 615,000 young people who graduated high school, coming into the workforce and presenting a viable opportunity for companies looking for a good labor pool. South Africa has the strongest concentration of software developers on the African continent. So those looking to consider IT operations or offshoring some of the operations, South Africa is a very strong destination to consider. Lastly, there are about 32,000 STEM graduates in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics that graduated from various South African universities in 2024. In terms of the infrastructure that we've mentioned, the city of Cape Town is very fortunate to have Cape Town International Airport, which has been voted for 5 or 6 straight years now as the best airport in Africa. It's welcomed 3 million two-way passengers in 2024, and there's been a significant increase in air cargo as well. Within the province of the Western Cape, we also have 3 ports, the Port of Cape Town being the busiest container terminal. We also have a deep water port in the Saldanha Bay and a mixed-use port in Mossel Bay, which tends to focus on fishing and a little bit of oil and gas servicing. Lastly, we have a significant road and rail network, the most well-advanced on the African continent. And lastly, there are 5 submarine cables that have landed, with more to come on the South African shores and specifically in the Western Cape, which allows great coverage for businesses wanting to connect globally and use those fiber optic networks to do business. We are a province very much driven by innovation and technology. We have a strong ecosystem support of incubators, accelerators, shared working spaces, financiers. We have a number of industry associations representing some of the new technology sectors. As I said, we have a number of very strong institutions providing skills and training, and a number of the largest events on the continent happen in Cape Town at the Cape Town International Convention Centre, like mining in NABA. Lastly, as a result of this ecosystem, we have a very strong selection of both local and international businesses in the technology and innovation space who've set up here. one of the biggest and most prominent examples being Amazon Web Services. They have over 1,000 people employed, and their EC3 platform was actually developed in Cape Town, but it is obviously consumed globally. From a political risk perspective, obviously there's sometimes some uncertainty about certain countries in the world, particularly developing countries, but South Africa is relatively politically stable and a strong country. Those who visited it will understand that. We had a successful transition from a one-party dominated state to a coalition government in 2024. Obviously, coalition governments always have their complexities, but I think it's a strong sign of our maturing democracy that we had a very peaceful transition and a peaceful election last year, and it's been business as usual. South Africa is amongst the top third of the most democratic countries globally, according to the Economist Intelligence Unit. We're governed by a globally recognized constitution, which protects the rights of individuals and businesses. In terms of press freedom, as one indicator of the ability for people to talk about difficult topics, South Africa is ranked 38 out of 180 countries in the world. And lastly, we have a very strong, independent and well-respected governance institutions, which serve as a countervailing force whenever there are issues that might concern businesses or individuals. This includes a very strong electoral authority and a very protector. Looking at potential opportunities, specifically in the Western Cape, we have 5 very prominent sectors. There are opportunities beyond this, but these are the 5 sectors where there are significant opportunities that have already been taken advantage of, but that there's further opportunities for expansion with welcoming new international investors. First one is food and beverage. The second one is the green economy, including renewable energy, the circular economy, green hydrogen, e-mobility. Then we have life sciences and health. We have some strong pockets of excellence in biotechnology, medical devices. Services is a strong sector, and again, our talent pipeline helps feed that services economy. And lastly, there's a significant amount of manufacturing that takes place in the Western Cape, boat building, textiles. We also have some interesting green technology manufacturers, lithium-ion batteries, last-mile delivery vehicles. So from the perspective of businesses looking for opportunities on the African continent, looking for opportunities in South Africa and the Western Cape specifically, there are opportunities in each of these sectors. Food and beverage, as an example, there's significant growth potential for the aquaculture industry, food processing, as well as high-value alternative crops. So in other words, not maize and some of the other major grains that South Africa is known for, but high-value alternative crops such as blueberries, avocados, and so on. Secondly, the green economy presents multiple opportunities. Renewable energy still has further growth potential. There's as much as 50 gigawatts that's expected to come online within South Africa in the next 10 to 15 years. There's an increase in the number of EVs, specifically in public transport, last mile delivery, and more public, passenger cars are coming into the South African market. And lastly, green hydrogen presents significant opportunity with the strong solar and wind resource in South Africa, as well as our strong port, the Port of Saldanha, that presents further opportunities. In life sciences and health, as I mentioned, digital health solutions, biotechnology, and medical devices are some of the areas where the Western Cape is specifically quite strong. In services, we have a number of prominent global companies who have located themselves in South Africa, but there's room for continued growth for those companies looking at a South African market, but also looking at an African market. Fintech and e-commerce are particularly strong in the Western Cape from a technology perspective, and also data center growth is significant. From a green manufacturing perspective, we have at least 4 lithium-ion battery assembly plants in South Africa, and we're looking to increase the value addition through going further down the value chain in terms of components into those batteries. We have some components for EVs, specifically charging infrastructure. There's a significant opportunity with companies already taking up that space in South Africa. And lastly, with green hydrogen developing significantly on the African continent, there's room for potential growth in the components required in green hydrogen production. As a new entrant and business into the Western Cape, you are provided with support from a very enabling ecosystem of collaborative partners. So in addition to Wesgro, as the trade and investment agency, we have 2 special economic zones: the Atlanta Special Economic Zone, which is focused on green economy and clean tech industries; Freeport Saldanha, which has focus on both green economy but also on maritime services. Lastly, the city of Cape Town and the other municipalities within the Western Cape are very high performing and are always very keen to get more businesses and more job creation in their provinces, and we liaise very closely with them to make sure that you can work as seamlessly as possible. Then we collaborate with national government very strongly through the Invest SA One Stop Shop, which is a division of the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition, and they help alleviate some of the delays that happen with any delays that may happen, should I say, with permit approvals, visa approvals, registering with our revenue service or our company's intellectual property commission. Then we also have the Western Cape government, who are very helpful in providing additional support. And lastly, if you're in the green economy, Green Cape are a sector development organization. They service the whole of South Africa, but they are located in Cape Town and therefore can provide close assistance to green economy companies. So in setting up your business and in us assisting, we can help with this entry and establishment of your business, from registering bank accounts, registering your business, registering with our revenue service. We can also help guide you through the regulatory environment, and then bring in service providers where that's necessary to advise on the specific mechanics and the legalities of laws. We can connect you with recruitment agencies and on-demand training organizations to help fulfill your training and staffing needs. We can also help with land or trying to find office space if you want to locate your business here in the Western Cape. We can also refer you to the National Department on incentives, and there are also some professional service providers who provide hand-holding service to navigate the application of incentives. And then lastly, on strategic matchmaking, where there's an opportunity for you as a new investor to connect into industry associations, to connect into the local economy, we also assist with those tasks. And so that you understand a little bit more about the South African and Western Cape economy, you locating your business here, you're very much in good company with a number of other large global players who've decided to locate here in Cape Town in the Western Cape. Scartech, obviously being a Norwegian company, have chosen to locate one of their largest offices here, given the prominence of the renewable energy sector, but also the talent pipeline. We've got Amazon Web Services, key French companies Lactalis and EDF, the Chinese consumer brand Hisense, as well as PepsiCo, Maersk, DHL, and obviously the largest brewer in the world, which has a significant operation in the Western Cape, AB InBev. Thank you very much to everyone. That concludes my presentation, but I'm very open to receiving any questions that we may have. We have some of my colleagues on this call as well. So if there's specific queries on any of the sectors, I'm also very happy for them to come in and help address any questions.
Thank you so much, JP. That was a very clear presentation and impressive work you guys are doing on ground in Cape Town in the Western Cape. I haven't seen any questions so far, so if there are anything, please address them in the Q&A. Otherwise, we could also share the presentation with everyone on the call today, and they could reach out to you individual also, JP.
Yes. So if there are specific, if you have been considering the Western Cape as somewhere to do business, or South Africa more broadly, we can connect you in with either different agencies from other parts of the country. So if you're also interested in doing business in Gauteng, we can connect you with the Gauteng Growth and Development Agency. We have agencies just like ours in each of the different provinces. Then if there are specific questions that maybe you only come up with after our presentation, you can make those inquiries and I can introduce you to members of our team individually so that they can follow up on specific queries related to specific sectors.
That's great, and thank you so much. I think you know, we highly appreciate the support, both with you and with Wesgro and of course the embassy. As I mentioned in beginning of this meeting, that we are planning a new business mission to Johannesburg, though, but it will be covering around the G20 summit in November, but it will be covering the whole of South Africa. So more information will come there. So if there's no other direct question here, please feel free to reach out to us and we will guide you in the right direction. And you are all in good hands with Wesgro. And I think I see the companies also participating. Some are also currently active in South Africa already, but it might be expanding or having questions. So I think we have a range of different companies here. So I think we're not going to take more of everyone's time if there's no questions. I think we are here. Reach out if anything. And I would like to thank you, JP, and the whole Wesgro team and the South African Embassy for joining us today and sharing some knowledge around South Africa. So if there's nothing else, I think we could let everyone go on with this Tuesday. And actually here in Norway, we have the sun out, which, you know, is something. Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone. I wish everyone a great day and reach out to us if anything.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your time and we appreciate being able to talk with all your members. We're happy to take any further queries after the call.
Fantastic. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.